Are you fat up or fed up? Tired of boring food? We just cooked this from our What Should I Eat cookbook. It's also on an ebook, making it more affordable for you. So,
get your copy at threeog.shop.
But in bodybuilding, this is that sport. You're getting judged by a panel of 7 different people with 7 different preferences and choices, which does not mean if one doesn't like you, you're not good, or one has a different opinion. Things never made sense to me because I was very young when I moved to Australia, and I became this neutral guy who wanted logic and an explanation rather than saying, okay, this is what my parents told me, I'm going to believe this for the rest of my life. Nope, I had a lot of disagreements. Getting over the compliments by the locals and the amateurs, I wanted the real compliment from the real people who matter, and I wanted harsh criticism from people, who are tough, because I wanted them to critic me in the harshest way possible.
he's Mr. No Pressure. Only beat me mentally. Won't take your messages after 7 p.m. Likes to party, but only if he gets a good night's sleep and rest. Will give up 100 grams of rice to make it up for a vodka shot. He's high fashion, but knows too well sleeping in a car what it's like. He's half Aussie now that the Aussies won the Cricket World Cup. Please help me welcome Pakistan's loved son, Ali Raza.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you for the introduction. I didn't see that coming, but
I did not know a shot of vodka was we'd give up 100 grams of rice. I'm okay with that, man. I'm okay with that.
Honestly, I didn't know either. I had to tell Scott, I'm like, hey, what do you think? Man, like, I got so many stories about those night outs that I had during my comp prep. We'll get onto that later on, but I'm actually very impressed with the introduction. Like, I've done a couple podcasts, but I've never had an introduction like that. So, very good first impression.
Thanks, man. I'll tell you what. You know what? I'm funny enough. I'm impressing myself. Don't worry. So, I think you know what? It's a good segue.
Yeah.
You said something. I don't know where I'll find it in here, but you said something about it's not about winning the comps. It's about being the best version of yourself, beating you. That's the bit I said about beating you.
Exactly.
And I guess each podcast I do, each moment I get to sit in front of you guys, I'm beating me. So my introduction of you has to be better than the introduction I did with the previous person. Meaning it's the same introduction, but I've got to find something that we all want to smile over. I want you to smile. When you smile after that introduction, you know this guy's invested a bit into you. So
exactly,
because this podcast is nothing without you guys, and obviously it's nothing without me. But there's only so much I can tell you about Steve when I can do a bit about everybody. So, what is it about that comment you mentioned? Winning's placing in a comp is nothing. What matters is, did you come in beating yourself? It's all about you. Tell us more.
I've been competing for a long time, since 2015, and I've done shows where I had different mindset almost every year. You live and you learn, and I realized that, especially bodybuilding. So let's say, let's relate this to cricket or any other sport footing. Skills, score points, and all that things matter in sports like those. But in bodybuilding, this is that sport. You're getting judged by a panel of 7 different people with 7 different preferences and choices, which does not mean if one doesn't like you, you're not good, or one has a different opinion. So this is why I think, if out of those 7 people, 1 or 2 doesn't like me, that does not mean that I did not come in better or beat my previous best or have to be upset about anything. I'm still better than last time.
Yeah.
And so since then, it's become one thing mentally. If I beat my last package, if I'm better than last time, if I've done absolutely everything I could and I still did not get the desired result on stage, I still should be proud of myself because I've beaten my previous best. And that's where the comment comes from.
Yeah. No, look, I'm 54 years old, never competed. I've only last year or two I've thought about competing because,
Yeah.
and to be honest, if I did compete, if
Yeah.
at 54, but trust me, European background, I still look a young stud. But having said that, besides being my best, I mean, to win, I guess that's what I would want to come in for, because anything below that, I've still won. So to win a comp, that's what you ultimately want. You want to win the comp, but
Exactly.
you've already won when you've come in your best and you've come in with that attitude. I think what you're trying to say as well is it's not just coming in physically the winner. You got to come fucking mentally the winner.
Mentally, exactly. Mentally. But there is a fine line between mentally confident and being cocky about that. So you got to make sure that you stay in limits and you bite your tongue sometimes, and your attitude determines everything. You gain fan following, and people look up to you just because of your attitude. That's something I've learned and has changed in the last 2 years, because most bodybuilders have problems with their egos, and it's got to do something with the hormones or their insecurities, or I don't know what it is. But I have learned to change myself in the last 2 3 years to become this person who I am today. Kill my ego, kill my insecurities and everything. So yeah, that helped me gain a lot of following and a lot of love from people.
Well, to add more content to that, as a businessman and watching the game I'm in, this bodybuilding game, and
Yeah,
any game, and we're talking
yeah,
about the sports game, during the sports game. Let me tell you, out of all the cricketers in the world that you know, and the
yeah.
great cricketers, when they retire, do you know 1% ever make it somewhere in the industry? Some of them go back to the factories, some become whatever they are. They're not superstars anymore. Just because, what I mean is, it comes down to your mindset. It comes back to giving back to the sport. It comes to wanting to watch others grow around you. I think, like what you're trying to say is, the ego to just be self-preserved in yourself isn't going to get you anywhere. You need to be outward bound, a serving kind of nature. You got to be wanting the next, I believe, and you correct me if I'm wrong here, I've got a son. He needs, not he needs, of course I want, I'd love to see him better than me, better mentally, better career, better with his money, better with the women, better with his friends, better with his mum, better with ladies, friends. What I'm trying to say with women, I'm talking about a gentleman. That's what we want them to be. But for them to be that, we need to raise the bar too.
Exactly. Yeah. No, no, 100%. We live and learn. Like,
Mm.
you can't expect. I've learned it the hard way too. Don't get me wrong. Like, there was this stage when I first won my show back in 2017, and I got got very overconfident, and then I got humbled really badly on stage, and then I'm like, you know what? Gotta keep your head down and work hard. And
Mm.
it's also the people around you, your mentors in life. Like, I was very lucky and fortunate enough to have two great coaches with me. Um, and they are really good people as well. And
Mm.
your coach can really change your mentality as well, and they made a lot of difference in grooming me, because they were much older, experienced than me. And um, I'll give them a lot of credit for what I am today as well.
No. Well, obviously, I'm assuming one of them, you're probably talking about Scott,
Yeah,
but his podcast comes live, which will be yours like later on. But we've got Scott on. But let's go to the first a real question that I've written down.
Hey guys, Steve here from Muscle Talks. I just want to say thank you for you guys being here. Thank you for watching this podcast. what I'd really love is for you guys to hit the subscribe button. Why hit the subscribe button? It'll just allow us to have a bigger reach, allow us to go get a bigger audience, and also bring you the best of the best here. Our goal here is to not only get our local people, but also international, and eventually, and hopefully, and will be bringing the Olympians to this station, Muscle Talks podcast. So please hit the subscribe button and also hit the notification bell. So every time our podcast is launched weekly, that you get notified and you can sit back and enjoy this. Thanks, guys.
Cricket World Cup. I see a love affair there. India versus Australia. 6 wickets and 42 balls remaining. That's how we won. Break it down for us now that you're a half Aussie.
Yeah. All right. So a lot of people don't know I played cricket growing up, and I played for under 17 now. But I was in the Middle East, so I kind of grew up in the Middle East, and I was playing under 17 cricket. Like I wanted to be a cricketer, and coming from Pakistan, we were really good bowlers. I was a very good bowler, so that's why I have a strong shoulders, because with the cricket background. And now, following cricket, you would know that Pakistan and India don't get along with the cricket. So when Pakistan was out, I was rooting for the Aussies to win this game. Really,
I know.
I literally took my kids, and I was staying in a hotel. I was staying up late. I canceled my plans for Monday just to watch that game. And I'm telling you, this was one of the best games I've seen in a very long time.
Yeah, tell me why.
Because of the attitude, the mindset, and the nerve the Aussies had in this. They went. Pat Cummins, he walked the talk. So he said he's going to silence the crowd. He did that exactly. He had a plan. They had every weakness written down for every batsman. They followed the plan, held their nerve, and they absolutely were in the game 90% of the time. Wow. They did give me a bit of a scare when they started batting and they were 3 down. But then you had Travis Head and Levishane coming in and playing one of the best innings I've seen in a very long time. The patience, the belief, the confidence. You know what it feels like when 500 million people are against you and there's a crowd of 130,000 people. And you got to give it to them. It was, I don't know, it was so good about it, because also knowing the fact that in India, they even in Pakistan, they take cricket as a very high prestige, even where they involve everything. You shouldn't take sports that seriously. Come on, man. Like, enjoy the process, The Aussies had no pressure. The people, because half the population here is into footy and AFL and all that. They don't even know, like, the country won the World Cup. So they had no pressure.
Tell me something, since we're in the topic. Why countries like Pakistan, Sri Lanka, India, why, Bangladesh, all the countries around there, I don't want to miss out on anyone just in case, but why I do know there's billionaires in some of these countries, but why such a poverty-stricken? They're not like soccer, it's not basketball, it's not Olympics, it's not. But when it comes to cricket and that bat and that ball, is it just like the Brazilians? They go to school holding a bat and a ball, like they hold soccer balls, the South Americans?
Yes, it's that every street in Pakistan or India, you'll have kids playing on the streets cricket. You won't see anyone playing soccer as much. Also, the department, the corruption in the other departments like soccer or badminton or tennis, it's way too much. They have a lot of politics involved in those kind of departments. So cricket is because a lot of population watches cricket, so they have to be more accountable to. So that's why they are under the pump all the time, and this is why cricket is flourishing more than any other sport. And every kid that sees how the cricket stars are made into celebrities, they get the TV ads, they get the money and everything. So that's why they want to do it more and more. So it's the funds. The government give all the funds to the cricket board too. So this is another big reason for that.
Okay, so you are Pakistani.
Yeah.
Tell us about the Pakistani culture, the love, the belief, the sport, and bodybuilding there.
Okay, yeah. So they go from one extreme to the other.
Okay.
It's just like I
Sound like
I
sound like
grew up.
sound like Europeans, but go ahead.
I grew up in the Middle East, and then I moved to Pakistan for about 2 years, and I would go here and there on vacation and school holidays, and I love the culture, the people. What I've learned from them is, and it makes me rethink about life so much. They absolutely have nothing, but they have everything at the same time.
Oh yes, yes.
They're happy with as little as possible. The time over there goes slow, so like people have time available for you anytime, any day, and
Oh,
the culture is very beautiful as well. But then, let it be any country in the world that I've been to, I see that um, I don't care if I offend people, but this is the truth. Like, if you involve religion into everything, you can trigger a lot of hate and response from people, or you can take
100%.
things out of context and use religion to run people and brainwash them. That's somewhere where I had a lot of disagreements because
Mhm.
I had good education. I grew up in a very good family, and things never made sense to me because I was very young when I moved to Australia, and I became this neutral guy who won logics and explanation rather than saying, okay, this is what my parents told me. I'm going to believe this for the rest of my life. Nope. I had a lot of disagreements, arguments. And now that social media and everything is so mainstream, people are starting to realize what they're doing wrong. But what they're starting to realize now, in terms of, being too extremist or too involved in that and hypocritical about religion, I realized it 10 years ago. So I went 10 years ahead of them. So when I moved here, I'm like, nope, like my grandparents always said that the country that provides you bread and butter is a country that you respect and live in, and
Mhm.
it's your country. And that's how, when I moved to Australia, I cut ties with every one of the people that I think are going to stop me or keep me in the same mindset, in the same circle, in the same school of thought where something is taboo or this is wrong and this is right. I wanted to be independent.
Mm.
I went on by myself. I never looked back. Like, I broke all the stereotypes you can
Mm.
imagine. Like, um, but back then people used to hate me, and I used to get a lot of hate on social media. But now all those people, you know, they respect and follow me because I I never hesitated to speak the truth about certain topic. And bodybuilding back overseas was nothing. It was just uh, say the bodybuilding back in the 70s and 80s in America is what bodybuilding in Pakistan is like right now, in terms of knowledge, in terms of
Okay.
protocol. Yeah, the two, they don't want to learn, they don't want to move forward. Just like um, there's no opportunities, or the lifestyle is very comfortable, so they don't want to get out of the comfort zone. Excuses and all that. We have a joint family system in Pakistan where in one house everyone lives together and helps each other, and that makes you very comfortable because your mom's cooking for you, your maids are washing for you. You don't get to do anything. Whereas bodybuilding is a very selfish individual sport where you gotta have your meals on time. You cannot be lazy. You gotta wake up in the morning, get your steps done, eat clean, train, um, keep moving forward. So over there, it was very hard for people with excuses and just the mindset. They weren't able to succeed in bodybuilding. So when I moved here, a lot of people who moved to Australia, they're too focused on making money. But I didn't want to make money. I wanted to make a name,
Mm.
and I just from there, then and there, when I started competing, and I knew I could do this. Um, and then when I came to know there's no IFBB pro from Pakistan in
Yeah, I
the
noticed
world,
that. Yeah, yeah. Tell us about that. The monumental reach. What thanks to you to for possibly Pakistanis or even people around that culture, that area in the world, to follow in those footsteps because you are the first Pakistani-born IFBB pro.
I'm the firstborn Pakistani pro in men's physique.
Yes,
We
that's
have
right.
two bodybuilding as well. So when men's physique started, I was the first one to compete, and I knew a few Pakistani guys competing overseas in men's physique as well. But I was very confident in myself. I knew I'm going to be the first one.
Mm.
So I told my coach, not the second. I just want to be the first one. I want to be the first to do everything. And just a mindset. So I did not stop for a single day. Like mind you, I go out now, but I never went out or drank or did any of those things until I turned pro back in 2019. So I dedicated everything to it. I put my heart and mind, body, and soul, everything into it. I got my pro card, then I could just relax. It was a moment where it still gives me goosebumps because a lot of people, like they move here to make money, and a lot of people doubted me and laughed at me. You're gonna waste your time. You're gonna get nothing out of it. And when I turned pro, it was just like everyone else wants to turn pro, and a lot
Mm.
of people are trying it. But even to this day, let even in Australia, no one from Pakistan or India has won a pro card in physique after me. So it's been
Well,
years.
I, I I was going to the gym a few days ago, and I was remembering what I was like in not only in my 20s, Ali. If I told you
Yeah,
365 days,
yeah,
7 years eating clean, lean, knowing how to bulk
yeah.
lean, like proper bulking, like we're talking about. Even I think there was a podcast with you and the mechanic and that other guy, the three of you all.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they asked, how fat do you become when you bulk? And
Mm,
Scott goes, if you can't see your abs, you've gone too far.
yeah, yeah.
So,
That's
in other
true.
words, we all like it just takes time. And when I think about you reaching pro card, firstly, let's say you get on stage and you did that and you went to that next level. Tell me how different is it once you've got it to keep it?
So a lot of people are young people nowadays want to turn pro.
Mm.
Um, but you should not be chasing the pro card. You should be chasing the pro physique. Reason being is that
Yeah,
even when I turn pro, I'm like, oh shit, I'm far behind from all these people. I
yeah.
need another 2 years to level up. So you wanna be able to win your pro card and then go straight to a pro show on a pro station, do good. And if you just want to do it for the sake of it, because if you look into this, Steve, there's like 15 or 16, 17 pro card holders from Australia in men's league, and out of them, only 4 or 5 are actually competing. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's really sad to see that you get your pro card and you go nowhere with it. You got it for your Instagram bio, which is like, I don't respect people like that. You got your pro card, that means you got to compete. You gotta represent Australia. You gotta
Mm.
go out there and show. And I told myself I'm gonna compete. I'm gonna do whatever it takes to do pro shows. I'm gonna do big pro shows and see how far behind I am from in comparison to the international athletes. Just so I can level up, which I am. I competed this year. I'm gonna compete next year.
I saw
And
that. I saw that.
this year surprisingly went so well for me. Like you know, I was over the moon when I competed in America. So yeah, it was pretty good.
You did a Texas one. Was that the Texas Pro or something like that?
Yeah, yeah. Texas Pro Show, man. Like, oh, it was. So I was going into America. A lot of people, they say, "Oh, you won't place in America. It's your first show. There's no way they're gonna look at you." And I had that in the back of my mind. I'm like, oh, you know, I'll still try going to America. So the first show I did was in San Diego, California. I did the show. There were like 32, 34 something athletes, a lot of athletes, man. I got third call out, which is like, I was okay with it. And I'm like, you know what, they're right. There are too many people. I might just do the Texas show and then head back home. Now the Texas show list came out. It was even a bigger show than the San Diego one. And I'm like, bro, like I told Scotty, like I don't know, man. I just want to get like top 15 and I'll be happy and all that. But then I went on stage without a single worry in the world, and I got seventh out of 34.
Wow, I
Yeah,
know, I know.
yeah. And it was very good from the IFBB community as well. Everyone congratulated me, including Tony Doherty, and a lot of judges. Everyone I met at the show, they all remember that. They're like, even the show was like 2 months ago. They're like, "Hey, very well done for your show," because they know how hard the show was with 34 pro athletes. They don't even look at you if there's like 20 or 15 pro athletes, but it was stage was stacked, lineup after lineup, and I made my mark. I had a very good feedback from the head judge as well. People actually loved me over in America. And I was so happy because there's a posing video of me where I go on stage, and I was expecting because I'm like, no one know me from the crowd. I have no support, so like, who's gonna cheer for me? Like, I was expecting to be that silent in the crowd in San Diego, and I swear, in that video, I go up on stage and I could hear girls screaming.
I love it.
Yeah,
I
and
love
I
it.
was like,
There's nothing like hearing the girls scream for you.
I
Regardless.
was I was stoked, man. I'm like, how? Who was that? it
I
was,
love it.
yeah, and on top of the lungs too. And I'm like, far out. This is good because I wasn't even expecting anyone, let alone a bunch of people doing that. And a lot of people came up to me after the show. A lot of girls came up to me after the show, and they're like, "Oh, you look great." I was just so happy, even though I didn't place. And in Texas, I did even better. So American trip was so good, and I was so overwhelmed by everything.
Well, let me tell you, I don't know if you saw the podcast a few weeks ago, Jason Quinn, that was on our podcast.
Okay.
He's men's physique. See, you might have missed it, but he was in Olympia. He's done 5 Olympias, right? He was in Olympia this year, Jason Quinn. And he did, I think he did some of the shows you were at. And let me tell you, one of the shows he did, he even said, I think he placed 6th. But then the next show he won. So like you said, you don't know what happens show to show. Just because.
Exactly. Yeah. I remember that show. So he did the show a month before I did. So he was competing as well. I've seen that show. Like he came in a bit tighter and he won the next show. So yeah. So you never know what happens. So like it was. So the good thing is the feedback. I was expecting them to say, "Oh, you got to pack on a lot of muscles or whatnot," but it wasn't that. It was just like I have to bring my lower lats up, which is just one department I need to work on. And I've come up with a plan with Scotty, so I'm doing everything it takes. So I'm very positive for next year and see what happens.
Awesome. So tell us, out of all the comps you've done, which one is the most memorable, heartfelt comp for you? It doesn't have to be that you've won. It could be that you've achieved something. Maybe you're going through a dark time. Maybe because everybody thinks you've got to win it. But what's one that you think I fucking did it? I got on there. I had adversity, or you didn't have adversity. I don't know. Just asking.
I think it was 2018, the Nationals in Australia.
Why?
2018 Nationals. I missed out on my pro card by 1 point, and the reason being is I did not put anything up on social media that I was competing. So no one knew I was competing. Everyone thought I was in off season. And I still remember to this day. So that was my first Victorian title win. So I still remember to this day. On the day of the show, I put a picture of my name tag, my number on social media, and everyone went crazy. Oh my God, you're competing? No way, this and that. And the next post that I put up was me holding the Victorian overall trophy.
Awesome.
And I had no pressure, so I had absolutely no pressure of showing people, "Oh, this is what I look like leading up to the show." I did not put anything up for 3-4 months, nothing at all. Just me working hard behind closed doors, and then I went up to the Nationals for the pro card. It was one of the toughest lineup I've seen. Everyone was absolutely peeled, and I won the Nationals. But then it was time for overalls, and I missed out by 1 point. And then I walked off. I was very sad. I walked off stage, but then people backstage reminded me, "What's wrong with you? You just won the Nationals. You're Mr." My coach said, "You're Mr. Australia. I'm so proud of you." And that was just, I made a very good post about the winner as well, and that really impressed the IFBB staff, the promoters, and everything. I was very positive about it. So that gave this birth to this new mindset and new personality that I had. That this gratitude that I had for the sports and everything. Everything changed from then. And next year, I won my pro card. So I came back next year. I won by that 2018 show, and also I was working 14 hours a day. So I was working 14 hours a day, doing 2 sessions, barely sleeping, and I had my son in 2018 and 2017 as well. So my son was 1 year old. It was one of the toughest prep I did,
Yeah.
behind closed doors, worked really hard. And I tell my clients all of that too, because I'm like, if I can do this, there's no excuse that you can make that I went through hell for that prep and I missed out on my pro card, but I would never forget that prep. That was the hardest I've ever done. But um, everything happened for the right reason.
Yeah.
Maybe if I won the pro card, then I would not. Victory wouldn't have felt sweeter next year, and I wouldn't be better next year.
What it's daunting just hearing the story that I know that even myself would question about myself doing it. We can all sit there and say, yeah, I can do it. Fuck words. It's about doing it. Like everyone talks. But tell me, how do you stay hungry knowing you got so close? There is an element of disappointment. You know what you did, but you have to do it again. How do you show up again? That's the part because you just did the suffering. Now you're doing it again. What do you need there? What do we need there?
So for me, I'm motivated and inspired an entire population of youth in Pakistan, and a lot of people they have, you know, if only you knew like what I'm like in Pakistan, they have posters of me in their gym and all that
Oh my
stuff.
God, that's awesome.
Yeah. So they look up to me. They're like a kid from our city went up there, turned pro, and now doing pro shows. So that's my motivation, man. Like every time I think of it, I'm like, even if I inspire one person to change his life, I'm gonna keep doing it again and again. But it's not one person. I inspire a lot of people. So, when you actually inspire someone, it's the fire is always lit within. And like the amount of respect this sport gave me, and the name, the recognition, and everything that I've earned through competing, the discipline I have during when I compete, the discipline I have, the amount of work I put in, and just because the discipline I have in my prep, the things around my work life also fall in the right place, and that is why I keep doing it. I just love the whole process, and it teaches you to be a very strong person, how to fight your cravings. Like I go out on the weekends throughout my prep.
Yeah.
Going out on the weekend, I'm telling you, it just taught me how strong I am mentally
Yeah,
to
go on.
not to control to control the urge to stay out late or drink or do something stupid. And people used to ask me on the dance floor, "How are you doing this? How do you do this? How are you outside? How do you have the energy?" And I like challenges. I know no one else can do this. I promise you this. No one else can do it. Maybe one or two person, but every single weekend, just going out there and enjoying myself. So it all started with me going on 4 weekends in a row, and then I'm like, you know what? If I don't show up this weekend, they're gonna say, "Oh, he's prepping," and maybe he's losing it. And like there were friends who were always there for me. It will be someone's birthday, and I'm like, okay, this person was there. I know this is a selfish sport, but I still gotta keep my relationship and my friends and family. So I'll make an effort, go out there, have fun, talk, treat everyone the same. I kept that going.
Yeah, I think I guess sitting on the couch, going for a walk, whatever. You can enter environments. You just got to be in charge of them, and you are going to have temptations, and there's going to be a false belief when you see people taking shots of vodkas and gins and whatever they're doing, and they're looking like they're living the life, but that's just a facade. And when the lights go on, you're the one that's going to shine. So you just make sure you don't get lost in the facade.
Never. I would be very unhappy with myself if I do. And there has been times in my off season where, if I let loose one day and the next day I'm like, man, what have I done?
Of course.
yeah, I would just feel shit. Never have I ever, woken up and said, "Oh, I'm so proud of myself."
Mm.
And I wonder how these people that I see on the weekends they do it over and over again without any regrets.
Yeah, yeah.
I just didn't see the pleasure or the urge to do so.
Well,
Yeah.
well, I'm going to tell you something funny.
Mm.
I've only recently, I'm 54, and I've just discovered this recently, the last few years. But do you know sometimes when we win
Yeah.
something, like, oh my
Yeah.
God, I just bought. I'll give you an example. Recently, I've been trying to sell a Porsche. I've got a Porsche, so I just wanted to sell this Porsche, and I sold it. It was a beautiful 944, and it's not like a 911, but 944, beautiful red beige, gorgeous car, man, 1986. But when I sold it, and I sold it well, I said, what do I want to do? What am I going to like, how do I celebrate some of that money coming in too now? And, to be honest, I did nothing. But in the past, I'd open a bottle of wine, I'd have a few drinks, I did this, I did that. But isn't it funny that even when we commiserate, it's a shit day, I'm going to open up a bottle of wine. What I've realized is whether I celebrate, whether I commiserate, I'm not going to fucking lose my mind. I want to be present in the pain. Wait a minute. But I also want to be present in the gain, in the win. Why intoxicate myself to not understand what a win is? And why intoxicate myself not knowing what sadness is? And I think that's the mistake we make. We believe you've just won something, a deal, bought something, and you think, oh, I can alleviate myself, but you don't have to. And that's what I think the mistake is with everyone, is they think alcohol, drugs, gluttony is the way that you want. It's a recognition. But for me, bullshit, feeling it is great. Knowing I'm sober, straight, solid. I love it. Look at me. What do you think?
I absolutely agree with you, and this is something very good. That's gonna stay with me. These words, like if I hear some things like what you've mentioned, I keep that in my subconscious mind. I want to know if next time, if in case I'm tempted by something stupid, this thing plays in my head. Like someone once told me that, oh, you're doing this. Are you gonna stay out late? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, what are you gonna gain from this? And that word have stuck by me. And I'm like every time I make a decision now, I think to myself, what am I gaining staying another half an hour? Is it worth me staying another half an hour, or making choices in life? I'm like, do I gain anything from this? And you know, and people need to hear words like that, and hopefully they get to hear our experiences through this podcast, and it can make a change in their lifestyle as well.
Well, I'm going to tell you, we're going to talk about dating. I'm not single. I've got a girlfriend. I've got a beautiful girlfriend. But in my single days, especially coming lately, 54, why I'm saying you need to be in the moment. See, this is the thing. You need to be in the moment of your win. You need to be in the moment of your loss. Just be in the moment. Don't drink it, because once you hit the alcohol, hit the drugs, you're not Ali, you're not Steve, you're nobody. You're just some whatever you are. But what I realized in this, and if anyone's watching, two guys talking about dating, you know what I did when I decided, let's try this dating game again? I didn't go out to dinner. I wasn't taking no one to dinner. I'll tell you why. Because when you dress up, when you go to dinner, the fancy lights, the fancy food, and the fancy alcohol, it romanticizes something that's not real. Because the next morning is real. The next morning is real. So what I did was, I used to tell people, meet me at 10 o'clock, I walk my dogs. And we used to go get a coffee, and I used to put my dogs on the beach, and we just talk. And there was no romanticizing. That's when I learned, if I knew this person, I liked this person. Whether I wanted to sleep with them, it didn't matter. But what I'm talking about is we lose ourselves in the romance. You've got to be careful what romance you're losing yourself in. And that's what I'm saying is, imagine you go out on a date with a girl, and you got the beautiful restaurant overlooking the city. You're having a few wines. Oh, the beautiful entree. She's looking amazing. She's got fucking perfume on. She's got the lipstick on. You've got the suit on. You know, that's just romance.
Yeah.
That's romance for that one moment. So what I'm saying is everything for me now is not fuck the romance. I want to know what's real. And that's what I'm saying is if I win, I'm not touching alcohol. If I lose, I ain't touching alcohol either, mate. I will drink with you, Ali. Me and you will have shots of vodka. Don't you worry. We'll have shots of vodka. We just won't have rice the next day. But the thing is, no, but the thing is, that's what I'm trying to say is we forget that we build up. We're not in the moment, and we've got to be very careful with that. Like I said, the false romance of life. The reality is, whatever you've won, feel it, and don't lose yourself in it. And whatever you've lost, feel it, don't lose yourself in it. That's what and also when you meet people, I'm just saying when you're meeting people out there, trust me, be careful of the romance, because the romance is not real, because the next day there's no romance, you know. So anyway, that's my tip. I don't know what that's got to do with bodybuilding, but then again, when you've got a good body like yours, and the women are calling from the stage in America, oh, look at him. So I'm sure they love it. Tell me, because I want to keep with bodybuilding a little bit, and I did kind of segue out. What's your training routine split? Tell us about how many days you train, how many days you have off. Tell me about what body parts you do together. Like, do you do a push and pull, a back and bicep, or do you leave the bicep because the back engages the biceps, or you do triceps? So tell me, what's your training split routine?
Like my training split has changed in the last year or so. Before I used to going 2 years back, I used to train 5 to 6 days a week, and pretty much the bro split where I will train my weak body part at least twice a week. And then so with strong body parts, I'll just leave it to one training session a week. But now I want to talk about my training split now, because I believe now is a good training split, and it's actually kind of working for my body. Definitely. And what I do now is push, pull, and legs. So I'll have, and I think that's working for me in a very good way, because I get more rest. So I wasn't a big fan of rest days, and I used to tell my coach to oh, I don't want to rest. Can I actually train another day? And and it was just in my mind. I'm like, man, you know what? If my body is not sore, I can still do another session. But that's not how your body works. Just because you're not sore, it's got nothing to do with your recovery or your training session or all of that. So a lot of people, they say, oh, we don't feel the palm, we don't feel sore. It does not mean you haven't had a good workout. You know, there's so much more into it. So now what I do is currently right now in my off season, I'm only training 4 days a week now. I want to give more rest to my body, but those 4 sessions a week that I have, I absolutely smash my sessions. I push myself to failure with heavy weights and all that, and I have no distraction whatsoever. I will go in and out of the gym, but 4 sessions a week, push, pull, legs, and so 2 push sessions, 1 chest focus, 1 shoulder focus, chest and biceps. So it's chest and biceps, and 1 whole back day. Then it's legs, and then it's so chest and biceps, back, legs. Then it's push, which is like triceps, shoulders and triceps. Yeah. So 4 sessions a week. So 1 pull, 2 push, and 1 leg day. I'm studying. My coach asked me if I feel okay. I can start back from the same chest and bicep again the same week. But I just like to take 3 days off. It kind of makes me want to do other things too. And when I'm comp prepping, I will train 5 days a week, no more than 5, because I believe in rest and recover. Even though if you're not doing anything, a lot of people say, "Oh, but I was home all day. I was sitting down on my couch. I got enough rest." No, resting is not that. You grow and you get lean and you recover in your sleep. So sleep and all that matters a lot.
Tell me something. You said you train legs. I mean, do you do the whole leg in that session? You do quads, hammies, calves? The reason I say that is that's, to me, very 90s, because that's how we trained in the 90s. But myself, because I guess it's a different thing for men's physique. I mean, with everything going on, but I actually don't do hammies and quads together. I separate them like I separate the rest of the top of the body. The reason I say that is I want to emphasize a real push on quads, like pushing chest. And then I want to push hammies like I want to push back. So for me, I don't know how, I mean, I know you're a champion, but I don't know. I don't think I could do my whole legs in one session, man.
It's hard.
It's
I'll
hard.
say something. Yeah. I mean, I've been only doing it for the last 2 months.
Yeah, that's hard, man.
Usually we'll be back in hammies and one quads and calves or glutes. But speaking of which, like I do have some RDLs and some hammy exercises for my back there as well. But even then, the leg day is so freaking draining. Like I was in
maybe it's worth it. Maybe I've got to try it again because I know in the 90s I smashed my legs. They looked good. They still look good now, but I'm just saying it's a very 90s workout, all legs.
It is. I'm just in the gym the whole time, and by the time, so like
but it's a tough one. But it's a tough one. I'm telling you, it's a fucking tough one.
It is. I put my like hex squats in like the far end of my workout, and by the time I get to the hex squat, I'm like, fuck, not this machine. I'm just dreading it. I was just kind of, I don't know. I think maybe for another month or so, I'll continue this program, and then I might go back to my, you put that thought in my head. Like I've always thought of it. I'm like every day when it was like that, I'm like, oh shit, next week I'm gonna change it. But yeah.
Well, I feel that the quad and the quad and the hamstring are such big body parts. Like they are. And the quad has the teardrop and it's got the outer quad and it's got whatever it is, a little bit more than me. But for me, I just want to focus like it's the back, or I want to, why should the bicep get more preference over the quad when I don't do tris and bis together? I usually mix them up. So I think I can't do them together. I want to go in and say, I'm fucking you quads today. Today, you and me quads, we're having a relationship.
Oh man, yeah. Look, I totally get it. Like it's me. I'm the same. Like when I start my program, I'm smashing through my workout, and by the time I get to my leg press and my hex squat and all that, I'm like far out. Like RDLs is the last thing I do. And I'm like, I didn't like seeing the bar. I'm like, oh, like even though I do it properly, but just because it's like the far end of my workout, my lower back starts hurting just looking at it. I'm like, oh, I just don't want to do it right now.
What's funny, and I'm gonna. What's funny is you mentioned about if I did full legs, and like I said, I'm not a coach, but if I did complete legs, I promise you, by the time I even do my first hammies, I'm done. I reckon I'll be going like, this is gonna kill me. But because I divide it up, I can't wait to do legs. Like I can't wait when I go in and do quads. I can't wait to do hammies because they're my focus. And the great thing is when I do say hammies, I might do front delts, or I might do just a bicep. I might do a small body part. Like I don't want to do and when I do quads, I might just do tricep. And because I smash tricep, and that's what I'm not a coach, and I want you to listen to Scotty. Don't listen to me, man. Don't listen to me on this.
It's always good to hear, how other people like to train, just so that I can relate to my training style and maybe.
I found I'm not in shape at the moment. I mean, I am. I've actually lost 11 kilos. Let you know that, and I'm coming back to the 80s. But I have to say, size-wise, while I'm losing 11 kilos, I'm actually
putting muscles.
I've trained for 30 years. I've got to have something there. But the one thing I've noticed is because I isolate smashing my weights, meaning the quads, the bicep, every single body part. Like I said, I got to give chest its opportunity over back as well, and back's got to get its opportunity, and shoulders have got to get its opportunity. But quads and hammies, and then I can bring in the bicep and tricep and the calves. You know what I mean? Like I bring them in there. But yeah, like I said to you, I feel size is still there, which is good. I actually don't feel like I've lost 11 kilos, but that's okay. So tell me why men's physique when there's so many divisions? Why did you choose men's physique? You could have done anything.
Like this is how I got into competing. The biggest guy in Australia, Josh, he was the trainer, and he's the only guy to go to Olympia as well and do so well. He was a trainer at the gym I was training back in 2015 at Derrimut, Caroline Springs Gym. And he comes to me out of nowhere. I had no intentions of competing whatsoever. And he goes to me, when are we seeing you on stage? And I'm like, sorry, what do you mean? Like I have no clue. And he goes, yeah, I still remember. He goes, I had long hair, and I was very young then. He goes, you got the face and the hair for it. You can do men's physique. And I didn't even know what men's physique was.
Yep.
And because I genetically I didn't have the right size for my legs back then. So obviously I was just one of those guys who would just train for lifestyle. Like I wasn't serious at all. I was just trained, and I wasn't following any diet plan either. I was just in and out of the gym and eating whatever I wanted. So just because George said, "When are we seeing you on stage?" I just went on stage without even dieting or without even knowing what I'm doing. Just then. So I just hopped on stage, placed dead last, and I'm like, oh. And it all started there because I've been on stage one time and I saw the other competitors. They were dieting for months, and I did not even diet for a day. I just jumped on stage just to see what it's like. Then I'm like, all right, these competitors, even if I was a bit leaner, I could have smashed all of them. So that's how I just got into men's league and kept coming back and getting better.
I'll tell you what, I train at a gym in Sydney. It's a very old school gym. It's called Hardcore, right?
Yeah.
It's an only males gym. No women are allowed to come, which is unreal. Sorry, girls. I'm sorry, we've probably lost all our ratings now. But no, and because it's I believe, they're Lebanese and Muslim, and their faith is important, which I admire.
Yeah.
They're wanting not to put their boys, their men, the people through temptation, which is what predominantly what it is. But personally, I love it. Oh, you don't know how quick you train when you just have boys in there, man. It's just it's just right. We're just training, but the Nepalese boys, the Pakistani boys coming through. I'm looking at them from the corner of my eye. I go, here they come. They're going to take over this. Like they get the next big boys. I could just see. It reminded me of me being Greek and going to the gym, a wog, and touching the weights. And so I really admire them, watching them, and I could see the work ethic and watching their body formation, because I guess Indian boys, Pakistani boys, maybe you could correct me if I'm wrong, they're quite lanky, skinny, they are. And but seeing what they're doing at the moment and their training and the way they eat and understanding, like I said to you, and they come to the gym I come to, which is, like I said, you get, I guess we're bros, everyone's bros in there, but yeah, I love the way they train. Like I said, they're very private, very quiet, but they do the job. But man, they're fucking, I think in the next 5 years, there's going to be a lot of you boys moving us aside on stage.
Well, it's just good to see them, stepping up and getting out of their comfort zone and breaking the stereotype of doing something different and doing it for themselves.
Mate, when you come to Sydney, I'll take you to Hardcore.
I would love to go there.
Yeah. I would love you there, man. I'm showing you, they would love you there. It's a very old school, probably like a Doherty type gym, but they've been around since 1997. These boys, they've got a boxing ring upstairs, so there's a lot of boxers that come upstairs. It's a very, very, very guys gym. 24 hours too. Really good gym.
Yeah.
Tell me something. What is your non-comp off-season breakfast composer? What do you have for breakfast, man? What's your breakfast when you're not competing?
Like, believe me or not, but I've had the same breakfast for about 9 years or so, 8 years
What is
or
it?
7 years. So it's just like so it's oats and a bit of so. Okay, here's one thing: I cannot eat in the morning. I just have absolutely zero appetite in the morning. So
Wow. Mm.
I always blend my breakfast into a smoothie, and I have the smoothie with oats, banana,
Chris
protein.
Bumstead's the same, you know. He has smoothie. Chris Bumstead, just so you
Okay.
know. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Like I don't have any appetite in the morning. Like I just feel sick in the morning, and I just have my coffee and then my morning routine. Just wait a couple minutes and have my breakfast. So I have oats, banana, um, uh, protein powder, and I'll have some honey or almond butter, depending on season or off season. But it's always this. Now, if I am, spending a weekend in the country, or like I love going to the country and spending a weekend in the country, or having a breakfast at a cafe, I'll go
Mm.
for poached eggs.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, poached eggs with avocado, and then I would order pancakes with that breakfast every time I've done it. Like everyone knows, even my family. So it has to be something poached eggs on a bread, and then there's gonna be a pancake sitting right there, which I'm gonna have after my breakfast.
Well, look, first and foremost, I'm just
Yeah.
you say you're not my type. Man, what are those eyes on you? Those eyes on you, your look as well. When I see you on those podcasts or those with Scotty, I look at you when you talk and your eyes and your cap and looking at your shoulders now. Mate, you're quite a specimen, brother.
Thank you, thank you.
You are, and Greeks, and
Yeah.
my own personality, I like to admire and give praise. Let me give you some praise, bro. You're a very handsome fellow. You're fucking muscular. You talk well. You look amazing. Chris, he looks amazing. And like I said to you, and no wonder they were screaming at you in the American shows. I wouldn't be screaming. You're not my type. I'm not into guys, but sorry. But talking about a nice guy and a well-centered guy, tell me about the post 29th of September 2023. The peanut butter sandwich. You thought of Scott the mechanic and
Yeah.
you threw it away and it made you cry. What a sensitive guy you are.
Oh yeah, like it's my hormones were all over the place, and so I come home, and then
Yeah.
what happened was like, so you know I had so much love and respect for Scotty, and I'm like he would be on top of everything. I know it was good for his business for me to do well as well, and him putting in so much effort into me, and then I open the pantry and there's bread and peanut butter sitting there.
Oh, yeah.
I put it. I make this beautiful, juicy looking peanut butter sandwich, and
Oh,
I'm
you
like,
even made it. God, go on. You're
I,
torturing
I,
yourself. Keep going.
yeah, I made it, and then I just looked at it, and I'm like, maybe if I'll have a bite, I'll do some extra steps or so. And then I'm like, I don't deserve to compete if I do that. So I just squished it and I chucked it in the bin, and I just sat there on the table and I cried just because the emotions were so high, and I'm like,
That's,
man,
that
what
sounds like
am
that sounds like a Bollywood movie we could do or a Pakistani movie we could do. Maybe we can really crying over a peanut butter sandwich.
it definitely can. Like I could just feel it. I'm like, how many more sacrifices am I gonna make? Like, I've done so much, and I'm better. Like, it just all the emotions kicking in, and I'm feeling the hunger, and I know, and I just. It was more like I wasn't crying because I couldn't eat it. I'm like, why did it even come to that point?
I know, man. It's like
Yeah,
some fucking television commercial and it makes you cry. Some fucking dog runs
yeah.
across the road to get a bone and you go, God, that dog's making me cry. Um, when did going all the way with, the next level of competing, but competing against the best, when did that capture your attention now that you jump on a plane and you go over there and you test yourself? Like, when did, like I said, when did you go, like, you got the pro card, you just didn't get off the gas, you said, I'm going further, I'm going more.
So like I compared myself to the best, and I'm like, everyone that saw me at the gym and in real life and my proportions, all that, everyone said I can do good, and I believed in myself, and I had this confidence,
Mm.
and I believe like I have this posing that a lot of people when they see me, even in America, they saw me posing. They're like there was something about it that the confidence was oozing.
Mhm.
And it's been like from day one when I was doing amateur shows. I wanted to see. I was I was kind of getting over the compliments by the locals and the amateurs. I wanted the real compliment from the real people who matter, and I wanted harsh criticism from people, who are tough, because I wanted them to critic me in the harshest way possible. Like Tony Doherty would often critic you in the harshest possible way, but then it was just Tony here in Australia. Over there, I wanted someone like a proper head judge to say, "Hey, you're shit. You got to do better." So I can pull my head in and go even harder. And
Mm.
then I just did not want to sit with my pro card and just not do anything with it. I just wanted to go and show the world that I can do something. And that's when it clicked, and I'm like, okay, we're going to America, and I'm doing an American show.
I saw you did some photos in New York, and you had some of your bros there. I think some people came with you.
Yeah.
And also, I noticed coming back and not seeing your kids for 5 weeks, and the emotions behind that. How do you, how does that? I mean, if a fucking peanut butter sandwich can make you cry, that would have fucking smashed you.
Yeah, it actually did. Like it was because I was away from them, and I see them almost every week, and I'm like, I have to do something about it. And then
You flew them
um
in or something like that. They didn't even know
yeah,
what was going. Everything was happening.
yeah, yeah, I flew them. And here's the thing, it was way out of my budget, but I'm like, you know what? I don't care. This moment is has to be like my kids gotta watch me do at least one show on stage, and it just everything got calculated in my head. I'm like, I'm not even thinking about the money. I'm like, I don't really care, and I just flew them in, and it was just so good. The first two, okay, let me tell you this: the first 2 3 days it was great, but then when reality kicked in, I'm like crying at night, and I'm like,
No,
my show is on the weekend. Yeah, I mean,
no.
like you missed all those.
I
Yeah,
don't worry. I got 2 kids, and
yeah.
I tell people I only like my 2 kids. Like I mean, kids. No, I love kids, but the thing is, you said something about the budget and everything. I'll tell you, man. I'll I'll say this: you never make it. I'm just going to let you know. You make it, you
Yeah.
lose it. You make it, you lose it. You make it, you lose it. It's just the graph, but you're just hoping the graph keeps going up. No graph goes straight up. You make it, you lose it, you make it. But I have to say, there's nothing sweeter than blowing your money, not having dinner for yourself, knowing your kids are eating. Nothing better. For me,
100%.
I'm fucking rich when I see my kids eat. I'm rich when I see things I look after. I mean, hear me. I know this might sound even silly. I've got a few dogs. They're my mates. But even them, I will make sure they're looked after before me. Not because they're fucking just animals, man. It's not about that. What I'm trying to say to you is that I know my rewards are bigger than the little bits and pieces I give to them or to with my kids. So, like I said, the fact that you said it wasn't in your budget, but fuck your budget. Let me tell you, you've got another budget in 5 years. Let me tell you, you're budgeting again another 10. You're going to be budgeting next week. So your budget never changes. So let me tell you, better you blow your money and rebuild it. Blow your budget, rebuild it. Because when we try to hold on to that little, whatever you call it, dollars and cents, I'll tell you another story about people when they get old. Most people, the biggest regret, they talk about the 5 big regrets, but the number one regret is not doing what you want to do, being accommodating to others. Let me say this to you, Ali. When I'm 90 and you say to me, what did you tell me something exciting? Let's just say something exciting. And it's nothing exciting now, but let's say, I had a beautiful red with beige interior 944 Porsche. I drove it around, and I sold it. And then let's say I did something with that money to have fun, go on a holiday maybe. But the fact is, the zeros in the bank account do nothing. But the fact that I had a 944 Porsche for a little while and drove it and then sold it and went to Bali and went here and fed my kids and then went broke and then made money and did this, that's the story, not the zeros in the bank account.
Exactly. That's so beautiful. Like it actually, you know, I needed to hear that just because people need to hear that, and from people like yourself, the experience, you need to hear that because they forget what it's like, and that's a very beautiful message.
And the other thing I'll say to you as well,
Yeah.
I'll tell you another quickly. You only become grateful when you get broken and you have zeros, because when you're lapping it up and the money's there and it's there and it's here and it's there, what I mean by that is you don't understand gratefulness. And like I said, flying your kids in, as much as 3 days later what happened and as much as it blew your budget, what I'm saying is, I promise you, zeros in the bank account, $1 million, 500,000, $10 million, that moment with your kids, that there's no such, like, no one's going to be happy if you tell me how much money you got at 90 and you've done nothing. But when you tell me a story about your life, that's worth millions. So remember that. The zeros in the bank account it's a boring story. Let me tell you, it's a boring story. Tell us another post on the 15th of September about rating dumbbell, cables, machine, and barbell. And at the end, the pros and cons, because it was about, the final choice was dumbbells or barbells. I think it was barbell. Yeah, barbell. Barbell. I think you said you love the barbell for some reason. Is that right, or dumbbells?
Dumbbells. I'm pretty sure dumbbells.
Dumbbells. Yeah. Sorry. Go on.
Yeah. The reason I said dumbbells is because of range of motion. You know, you see a lot of injuries happens when you are doing a barbell press, whether it be incline or a bench press, or if it's a shoulder press above your shoulder. Whereas dumbbells, you can get like a full range of motion.
Yeah.
You control the dumbbell. Whereas with the barbell, you do control the barbell, but sometimes the barbell controls you. So like if one side is falling apart, you're out of balance, or if it puts pressure on one side. I just don't know. It's a funny feeling about barbells. I just like having the range of motion with the dumbbells, and like I can do whatever I like with it. Like if I were to do a hardcore bodybuilding session, obviously I would like to put the barbell on my back, do some squats or even deadlifts or whatnot. But if I were given that I had a few choices that I need to stick by one particular item, I would pick up dumbbells because then I can, train with them anytime, anywhere. How many people do you see backstage pumping with a barbell? No, they use dumbbells.
No, 100%. No, I agree. But it's funny because, I mean, it's the biggest, like I said, obviously, I'm saying in the 90s, everything was barbell curls, barbell squats, barbell bench press, barbell incline. Dumbbells were, you know what? Dumbbells were just used for doing flies. That's about it.
Yeah.
But
I remember that.
But there's a lot of change. Now, September 2023, the 2nd of September, another post. You said September 2023, about 2012, and people used to say to you, why do you go to the gym if you don't have money? You're sleeping in your car, you barely had food, couldn't even afford eggs. You told them you will have money, fame, and everything. It took 8 years after that. So tell us the 8 years, and Scott saying that it's just the beginning. So if anyone had to learn about appreciation or humbleness, and I'm sure you're still going. I'm not going to tell you you're there because I don't want to know you're there, because I want to know you got more and there's more going. But tell us about that.
Wow, that's like, it goes way back when I moved here. Obviously, I was going uni and staying with a bunch of students, and they all used to do part-time jobs and all that. And I used to, struggle to make, because I was paying everything for myself. And then I still remember, like, I used to use my friend's card to go to the gym at night because it was a 24/7 gym and there was no staff and I couldn't afford a gym. Then I'll come back, I'll literally collect pennies to get from the Woolies across the road. I'll get a dozen of eggs and I'll eat like eggs 4 times a day. That's all I could afford. And one day I'm like, I am 50 cents or something short to get eggs. And my mate's like, why do you do this, man? There's no money in this shit. Don't worry about it. Like, just go get another job, make money, whatnot. And I just told him, man, like one day I will. Like, you don't have to tell me what to do. And even just like, typical, like, I had a very good fair advantage that my family overseas was educated and well off. So they sent me to good school and I had good education, good manners. So when I moved there, I remember I was doing a part-time job at a 7-Eleven and one of the guys, I wouldn't name him, but he goes to me, "Oh, I did something wrong." And he's like, I've been working here since 10 years. I manage this place now. And he gave me a lecture about everything. And I quit that job. And I told him, I didn't come here to work 10 years at a 7-Eleven. So, yeah.
Actually, his advice was good. He got you to quit.
Yeah. I still remember, like, it took him by surprise because he thought that, oh, I'm gonna, because the feed on your your circumstances, your situation. He knew that I didn't have money, so I wouldn't quit, but I did. I'm like, you know what? I'm like, man, I'm gonna quit. Don't talk to me like that. I didn't come here 10 years to work 10 years at the 7-Eleven. I left that job, and then I remember that I worked on a farm, and I had no accommodation, so I was sleeping in my car for a week or two, and I didn't feel any sympathy for myself because it was my choice to train and eat and do all that. I could have easily gone and do 3 jobs, but that would have affected my rest period. And I was very I was very invested into my fitness just because it changed my life, and I just couldn't give up. I just didn't see how I could give up, so I kept going. And then all those people, they even replied to my reel, and then they said, "Oh, you know, we remember that time." So it's very satisfying to do that.
Yeah, look, it's I think I too, looking at people, looking at things around me, and the story you talk about. I mean, the guts you took to quit that job, and because at the end of the day, your circle of friends and your circle of culture, like my circle of culture too, they don't understand dreams and aspirations. They just understand hard work, which you understand and I understand. But it's not just about reaching the fame, or sorry, the money. It's just being true to yourself, that there's more to you. There's something more that you believe this. Like you're not the person that is a 9-to-5 person. You're maybe not the person that is looking for his superannuation to be perfect, or the person that obliges to a boss. I've come to terms with myself that firstly, I don't think anyone can really work with me, but I can't work with you. So I think I need to work for myself. And actually my ex-wife said to me, "Finally, Steve, you worked that out," which was comical in itself. But it was actually good because I realized, without ego, there's something about I need to do my thing. And if people tell me, like I tell Chris, I have it on my vision board. I'll just tell you what it is. If you think you can not or don't need to tell me how good I am, if you don't need or don't want to tell me how good I am, then you have no fucking right to tell me how bad I am.
Yeah.
Same thing. So when someone tells me what I'm doing wrong, I turn to them and say, "Okay, now fucking tell me what I'm doing right." And when they tell me nothing, I said, "Well, you can just fucking shut your mouth because I don't need to hear it." The first thing, so what I'm alluding to is, why would I come to you, Ali, and tell you what you're doing wrong when I should start everything with what you're doing right, because it doesn't matter. Because if I've got the right to find a negative, then we should always start forgetting that right with the positive. I should start with the positive. Hence why I say you look amazing. You're amazing what you're doing and how you look and how you're training yourself.
I love that.
Yeah, like I said, if someone criticizes you, you can stop them and say, whoa, stop for a sec. And when they say, what? Give me a compliment first. You know how many people I said that to? And they go, huh? Yeah. I say, no. We won't continue this conversation until you give me a compliment. And they sit there quietly. And I said, well, the conversation stops. So,
wow.
And that's how I roll. That's how I roll. And that's how I roll a lot lately. So I'm not right. I'm not the best, but I don't need to hear what I'm not doing. Just tell me what I'm doing. And then, because there's plenty of other things to talk about. Explain, I have no pressure, better and better than the last time. Not having to win, but to beat yourself. That's why you have no pressure. Explain that. What does that mean?
So like when I go into a show, all right, let's relate that to the Cricket World Cup match with India and Australia again.
Yeah.
So India went in to that World Cup with a pressure of 500 million people. Yeah, that they have to win. Australia went in with no pressure. They win or lose, they're not gonna get any backlash from their social media or their people, or they're not gonna get any thrashing. That's how I have no pressure. I don't have anyone to prove to or talk to. I'm just doing it for myself. So I win or lose is for myself. Like usually I will feel pressured. Oh, what is my audience gonna think of Instagram? What is this comment? What are they comment on my post and all that? But now I'm like, you can say whatever you feel like. That's your opinion about me. But I've got no pressure. I'm just gonna go there, do my thing, come on as a winner in my head, and the placing is just there. So I absolutely have zero pressure and expectations.
I learned from that part. I learned from you something that told me I can compete. I don't have to win, but I just have to be better. I can compete in life. I don't have to win, but as long as I'm coming in better than I did in my life, in competing in my life. I did like that. And it does alleviate some pressure, but I do put pressure on myself sometimes. Explain to me this, your ritual. You've got some rituals that you don't take messages, notifications after 7 p.m. Yes, I'm sure a lot of people would like to know that. And I think that's also, besides a bodybuilding mentality, I think it's a very good mindset mentality in everything you do. Go on.
So what I do is like, I love to turn my phone off 2 hours before I sleep. And I turn it on 2 hours after I wake up.
I love that. I've heard a few massive entrepreneurs overseas do the same thing. Go on.
Yeah, so like, say I have a client at 6 a.m. I like to wake up at 4. I would not check my phone. I'll make a cup of coffee, sit outside, and just feel the wind, feel the weather, and just think how I'm going to execute my day. Because the other reason why I don't like to check my phone before I sleep is like, why I say 2 hours is like, if I get a bad message or a notification or a text that's going to give me anxiety and keep me worried before I sleep, it's gonna ruin my whole sleeping schedule. Like I will be thinking about it all night. So even if I get a message, just say someone messaging me 2 hours before I sleep, or we have a problem, this and that. So I will. 2 hours is enough enough window for me to let the situation dissolve. So let's just say it was 5 minutes before I sleep. I get a text message. Oh, we got a problem. No, my sleep is ruined. I'm having all these emotions before I sleep. So I just stopped doing that stuff. Even I have my families overseas on a special ringtone that they can message me anytime, just because in case of emergency, I'm gonna be there for my family, because if they have a problem, that's worth sacrificing my sleep for. But if it's just somebody that I know, I'm not ruining my mood or my sleep. Sleep is very important for me, so I turn my phone off, and I keep it like 5 meters away from my bed as well. But that's just sometimes, it could be 9 o'clock if I'm sleeping around 11, but I make sure 2 hours or 1 hour before I sleep, my phone's off and no one is disturbing my peace.
I tell you, it's a hard discipline, and I've tried it and I stuff up all the time. But now that I've heard it from you, I'm going to give that a go. Oh, tell us also, looking at your posts, the boys, the travel, the photos, the no shirt photos, the fashion, the confidence, what bodybuilding gives us. Speaking for myself, what bodybuilding gives me, it gives me an element of vanity. I have vanities. I can't say I don't, which is good because it's not against anyone else. It's just me trying to be appreciative of me, right? Belief, ego, even humbleness, and where you came from. And I'm also an underdog, and I support the underdog. I feel there's very similarities inside your posts. Why do you do it? What is it about you making someone believe in themselves out there as well?
Like to, like you said, I like to compliment people. I like to, like coming from a country as well where I see people where the culture, the way to, they think the way to improve someone's life, starting from, a very young age, they would scold you in a way which will insult you or bring you down because that's their way of raising. That's old school parents. They're saying that they put you down. That's how you're gonna level up. No, you
No,
can level up.
no.
Words can stay in your subconscious mind. Words can hurt you. Words can make you. So I love complimenting people as well. I love putting them up, and I love to put them in their place too if they're wrong.
Oh, yeah, fucking oath. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I've molded myself into this man. Like, I love to take my time in dressing up just because, it's just like something I love doing because I'm wearing gym clothes 7 days, 5 days a week. So on the weekend, I want to show the world, I want to give them a message that bodybuilders are not just these boring, stone, cold people that have no personalities and nothing. They can have a personality, they can dress well, they can look better, they can do whatever you think they cannot. So it's sad because only a few of people in the industry are like me, but I want to see more and more people because you guys represent the bodybuilding industry. Say if an average person, looks at you and they see you're boring and dumb and all you can talk about is chicken and broccoli, they don't want to be a bodybuilder or respect you. You need to be able to talk about politics, religion, history, science, and one of those things. So if you, Steve, if you were to meet me outside of this podcast at a bar, you will not hear a single word about bodybuilding.
Oh, no, I know what me and you would be talking about.
Yeah.
Don't worry. No, we'd be talking about, we'd probably be complimenting many people at the bar and we'd probably be having a good time. I believe that. I'm not just talking about anyone can insinuate what you want, but me too. I mean, I really believe with bodybuilding myself, the fucking hard work I put in makes me believe that I can wear a really good suit and I'm entitled to, or a great t-shirt or a great pair of jeans and a fucking just, you know what? Because the body has done the work to complement the suit, to complement and also the body is able to complement the restaurant, is able to complement the bar, it's actually complementing the environment I walk into because I put the fucking work behind closed doors. So when I walk in, I want to know I get a nice smile, I can smile, chat to the bar person, the guy, the girl, sit there, talk to people. I mean, that's the work we put in for the confidence to come out. I mean, it's not about fucking, broccoli and chicken, which it is. I'm just saying it is.
But it's the broccoli and chicken stays in your kitchen. Like you don't bring it to the bar.
Yeah. What I'm saying is, and also there are. I look. I'll tell you something. I ride a Harley Davidson, right? I've had this Harley Davidson since I was 28. I've had it for 25 years, right? I've got it even tattooed on my wrist. My bike. My bike's tattooed on my wrist, right? But this bike, I'll tell you something funny. When I ride it, if I'm don't look at me now, I'm 96 kilos. But my true weight is about 85, 84, 85. But let me tell you a funny story. When I ride my Harley Davidson at 78 kilos, I feel like I can't ride it. But when I ride at 87 kilos, I'm the boss.
Oh yeah.
Like when I put on the muscle, the size of my jeans are fucking
feel
tight
it.
on my quads, and I've got the bars and my biceps are popping. Now my Harley Davidson is me and we're in sync.
Complete.
We're
That's
complete
what
now.
completes you. Yeah.
So that's what bodybuilding does for me. It just completes my task. You know what I mean?
Very well described. I feel you there. Yeah.
Yeah. When I ride my bike, man, when I'm 78 kilos, one time I was 78, I go, hey, I'm not gelling with my bike here. What's going on? I need to put on another 6 kilos. When I'm 84, 85 kilos, and I just go, oh yeah, the back feels good on this bike. Everything feels good. And I guess that's why we bodybuild. Why not go out and enjoy it? I mean, all that work and to stay home, all that work, meaning when I say to stay home, I'm talking about enjoying a bushwalk, enjoying the movies, enjoying and when you talk about discipline, don't worry, man. I understand. I've enjoyed movies and not had the choc top, not had the Maltesers, not had the popcorn. That's okay. But you can still go to the movies. You can go to a bar, mate. Let me tell you, like, you can still talk to the crowd and not have to be intoxicated. Let me tell you about that.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
Tell me, obviously you mentioned growing up. What did you want to be when you grew up? And like when you were a young lad, did you want to be a cricketer? Like you said, I think you said that.
Yeah.
Did you want to be a doctor? Most of you guys want to be doctors. Most of you want to be engineers, accountants. What did you want to be growing up? Before all this, what did you want to be?
So like, most of us people don't want to be doctors and engineers.
You're indoctrinated. You're indoctrinated.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
It's just like it came to a point where like I was in high school and I'm like, what do I want to be? I don't even know. Do I want to be this because of my parents? Because the pressure that I had, my mom's like, oh, he's definitely gonna be a doctor, and my dad's like, oh, look, get into architecture, get into this. The pressure was just so much that at some point I didn't want to go to medical, but for some reason, I was always like, I had the center of attention in school. Growing up, I did some silly things, and I went like, I just went out of track and did some stupid stuff. And I was a very good student, though. I was good in chemistry and biology, and then I scored really good grades in my high school as well. So, dads like to be do you want to be an engineer and go and study in Australia? And I'm like, yeah, why not? And then when I was studying and I was late, oh, here's a funny thing. That's the first time I decided to stop doing engineering. I was doing engineering, and then my professor, Mark, was like to me, why are you late again? And I'm like, because I had to sleep 7 hours. And he's like, he told me, he goes, Ali, do you really want to do this? And then I said to him, no, actually, I don't want to do this because I actually have no interest in this. And then he goes, yeah. He encouraged me to stop doing engineering. And at one point, obviously, I wanted to be a cricketer, but my parents were pressuring me too much to have a full-time job and have a backup plan. Look, it's okay. What they want from me, that was fine, but the way they put it out there wasn't fine. Like, there's a way to tell your kids, okay, you cannot put your kids down the whole time and expect them uh, to do something. Like mentally, I was so disturbed by some of the words and things that have been said, which I've obviously forgotten now. But I had all these different phases in life where I'm like, okay, do I want to be a creator? Do I want to be an actor? I did some modeling work when I was 19 as well. And then I'm like, do I want to be an actor? But that in my country, going into the acting industry was very hard because they are very corrupt people. And I'm like, okay. Then I moved to Australia, and then I wasn't even sure I wanted to be a bodybuilder. I just wanted to live. I just did not want to be a somebody. I just wanted to live my life, go with the flow, and then sooner or later, I was this guy competing and doing stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that you did a post about putting on makeup because you're on television in Pakistan.
Yeah.
Tell us about
Yeah.
television in Pakistan. Was it Pakistan? Because you also went to Turkey as well. I noticed that you went to Turkey, did something there. Tell us
Yeah.
about you and television and putting on makeup.
So I did TV shows, talk shows, motivational shows back there just to motivate. And I'm known in Pakistan for being very outspoken and upfront and not holding back when it comes to religion or stereotypes or culture. I do not care if something is wrong, I'll say it's wrong. If something is right, I'll say it's right. I do not feel pressured by the society, what they want me to talk about on social media or on media in general. So I went
Yeah.
in there. It was a live TV show, and I think I was more confident than the host himself. And you know, like I went there, they're like, "You gotta put some makeup on." I'm like, "Whatever makes me look good on camera, I'm happy to do that." So put some makeup on, did this TV show. It was a good experience, but um, yeah, but I think I was way ahead of their time. Like they did not know what to ask me or what to do. I was the one answering questions. They were so stuck in the 80s and 90s mindset of fitness, and I was talking about stuff that they did not even hear about.
Yeah. No, it is like that. When like I said, when you go into countries that want to know and hear about your story, but when you tell them your story, they're like, you can see the blank look in their face. They're like,
Yeah.
it sounds French, like you're talking another language. Tell me, 2019 IFB Pro Comp and Tony Doty words on your post, him saying, "I'm never giving him the mic again." What happened, man? 2019, eh? Did you steal the show? Did you think, was it like the Academy Awards or something? What was going on?
I still remember that. It's just like it's so funny because I remember like he literally gave me the mic and I could see that he wanted to say, okay, I think we're done here, but because I kept talking for like 6-7 minutes, I kept making jokes on stage as well, and the crowd loved it. But I gave like one hell of a speech too, and a lot of people quoted those words that I said there. I'm like on stage, I still remember to this day. I'm like, my parents wanted me to be a doctor or an engineer, but there are 1 million engineers and 1 million doctors in Pakistan, but there's only one IFB bro, and that's your son. And and mic up, and that's what I said that it made the crowd clap for me, and it came from the heart, the speech, and I kept thanking everybody. And Tony's like, "I'm gonna give another pro card too."
No, it just I kind of felt that. I don't know because
Yeah.
you obviously put it on your post. So tell me, hashtag Team Raza. Explain, where are we heading with all this now going forward? What's the dream? What is your why?
So like I coached two athletes like back in 21. Two of them turned pro athletes as well, and when they got their pro cards, and I was very happy to see that I'm not just a pro, I can help other people get their pro card as well. And because I love the men's physique division, I wanted to coach only men's physique athletes. And my love and understanding for this division, also knowing the judges and what they want and keeping up to date with everything. So I'm like, why don't I make a team of myself where I coach athletes to compete on the men's physique stage, where I can teach them how to pose, how to get better. Um, and then, it just became better and better, and people start transforming and changing. And I'm very selective of who I choose on my team just because it's more about the reputation. I have a 3-month probation period where I'm like, okay, if you can work with me 3 months and can show consistent progress and send me check-ins every week, then I will work with you.
Sounds right.
further
Sounds
on.
good.
Yeah. Yeah, and if not, then I'm sorry, you're out of the team. I don't need your money. I just need commitment. Yeah.
I know you guys mentioned something about competing, and I guess the currency over there, is it difficult for people to compete over there? Meaning, is there comps inside Pakistan? Is it hard for them to have access to people like you? What is it that stops it? Like, yeah, what are the limitations for that?
Look, the federations are not affiliated with IFBB in Pakistan. That's one problem. But the second thing is the people who can actually compete and they have access to everything would not dare to compete in the IFBB. They can easily travel and compete, yet they choose to travel and compete in petty federations and smaller shows because it's easier to win smaller shows. Now, in terms of supplements and everything and the diet, I think Pakistan is even better than any country. Pakistan, India, for instance, we are better than all the countries. Food is more expensive in Australia than in Pakistan. You know, when it comes to using supplements like gear, PEDs, and all that, it's not even available in Australia. Whereas Pakistan, you can just walk in the pharmacy and get a proper pharma grade stuff. So I think they should be utilizing and capitalizing on all of that. But because their mentors are weak minded people and corrupt people who've been doing this for 40, 50 years and they haven't changed. So they are still in the 70s, 80s mindset. They don't want to change. They want their egos won't let them change. They don't have people like ourselves motivating them through podcasts or being real with them. The ones like myself who are in the IBB won't go back. Like I wouldn't go back into Pakistan and waste my time where I know I will waste my time and I have to challenge myself against all these corrupt people. Why do I even bother where I have no dramas in life? I'm here sitting peacefully doing this interview, instead of getting involved in, all the drama because there's a cult over there that's very political and corrupt.
Yeah. I guess it's similar to a lot of countries. I guess there's gangs, people running the show, corruption. Yeah. I tell you, but like I said, obviously there's would I be wrong in saying there's a massive market there for everything, for everyone, if they could utilize it accordingly without corruption? I guess accordingly, what I'm trying to say is go in there with the right mindset, like you said.
Yeah, no, 100%. There's a lot of the economy. There's so many people out there. The population is big, so if they can do anything they want. If they can achieve a lot. It's just the mindset and having the right mentor. Just like how you said, why they're only interested in cricket because they never had the right mentor to take them into football, soccer, or badminton, whatever. Yeah.
So what happens next with you? What have we got in store for 2024?
2024, I'm gonna win.
You're gonna win?
Yeah, I'm gonna win the pro show and I'm gonna qualify for the Olympia in 2024.
Wow. That's I think that's just let's shut the gate on that. That's I think we go over the body now after that call. I mean, maybe we got to do something with Muscle Talks. Maybe a little sleeve on your tracksuit or something. I don't know. Maybe find out how we can be a part of that because
100%.
you sold me, and that's why not. Maybe me and Chris can get tickets and come to the show as well. We're going to Olympia next year.
Yes.
Ali's competing, and he's going to have sponsored positions for us, maybe on the shoulder here somewhere. I don't know. We're going to find spot.
100%.
Why not?
Are you fed up? Tired of boring food? We just cooked this from our What Should I Eat cookbook. It's also on an ebook, making it more affordable for you. So, get your copy at threeog.shop.
Okay, we're going to go over the body.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you a body part.
Yeah.
You're gonna specify an exercise, just an exercise, sets and reps. You train it, great. You don't train it, even great. Doesn't really matter. But this is where me and Chris have created a podcast to get a free workout out of everybody. So let's start with traps. Do you train traps?
I don't, but if I were to train traps, I'll do front loaded traps.
Yeah. How many sets and reps?
On a barbell, I'll go with 3 sets of 12 to 15 reps.
Okay. Delts, since the delts are broken up in 3, what about side delts?
Side delts, lateral raises, dumbbell lateral raises.
Sets and reps?
3 sets of 8 to 10 reps.
Front delts?
Front delts, I'll go with front cable raise. Front cable raise.
Sets and reps?
10 to 12 reps, 3 sets.
Back delts? Rear delts?
Delts. So before I answer this is the funniest thing. For the last 1 year, 1.5 years, I haven't trained rear delts because I have really well developed rear delts.
Yes.
And if I were to pick an exercise, it has to be the rear dumbbell raise, or I'll actually go with reverse pec deck.
Everyone's talking about that reverse pec deck. It's amazing because there's machines now that you can use it. But are you talking about doing it with like that, with a reverse pec deck?
I'll actually hold it like this, so like it's actually hitting my rear delt. It hits the rear delt more. So
you're very thick. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So how many sets
yeah.
and reps there?
I'll go with 8 to 10 heavy. Yeah. I'll go 3 sets.
3 sets. Chest.
Oh, chest. Yeah. So upper. Are we talking about upper chest, or are we doing everything, or just?
Well, you can give me an upper chest and an overall chest. You can give me 2, but yeah, go for it.
I'll go for upper chest. It's nothing better than the incline dumbbell press.
Incline double press. Yep.
Yeah, 4 sets of 6 to 8 reps.
6 to 8. You'd like to go heavy, and just a normal chest. So overall.
And I would love to do the seated flat machine press.
Yeah. I know that one. How many sets and reps?
I'll go 3 sets of 8 to 10 reps.
I tell you what, a certain kind of dip exercise is good for chest too, you know.
Yeah.
Dips are good too. Just came to my mind. Back.
Rows, barbell rows. If I were to pick one, it has to be barbell rows. I'll go 3 sets of 6 to 8 reps heavy.
Yeah. I'm also liking bend over rows. You know, bend over, but close grip. You know, close grip as well. It's
okay,
nice.
close grip. Yeah. I like that too.
Bicep.
Bicep, I'll go alternate dumbbell curl.
Okay. How many sets and reps?
3 sets of 10 to 12 reps.
I tell you what, I'm very lazy lately. I can't do alter. I just do them together because I just want it done.
I swear I do them together too.
Because do you get lazy for alter? Like for bicep?
Yeah. It's just too much. You got to count 10 each side, and then
But it is good. But I get it.
Yeah.
Tricep.
Triceps, I will go with cable cross tricep extension. So it's like the cable.
Yep.
You hold it in this position and you cross it. So cable cross tricep extension.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll probably go 12 to 15 reps, more reps for the triceps.
I've brought back recently a 90s favorite of mine, because we didn't know so many different exercises, but I do kickbacks. You know that kickback?
I love it. Oh shit, man, I love it. Yeah,
that sometimes pull up. If I go too much, I can pull the muscle. So you've got to be very cautious with it.
That's so good. I gotta write this down because I gotta remember this to add in my program. He just reminded me.
Kickbacks, man. Kickbacks. Good old 90s days kickbacks, mate.
Yeah, the kickbacks. They're actually, it's something that I did when I was overseas, and I actually felt it so much that I'm like, when I come back, I'm gonna include it in my program, and I totally forgot about it. So
the funniest thing is alternating bicep curls is similar to kickbacks. You've got to be patient because you're going that arm, then you're doing that arm. But I decided to bring it in, and trust me, fuck me.
Yeah.
Now I know why back in the 90s we did tricep pullbacks.
Mm.
Kickbacks, sorry, but tricep kickbacks are good.
Mm. Yeah.
Just for the question itself, do you do forearms?
I don't. I actually don't. Like I used to do it like years ago, but I don't do it anymore. Um, yeah.
Okay. What about abs? What do you do for abs?
Abs, leg raises, hanging leg raises.
For that, how many sets and reps?
I'll go 3 to 4 sets. 4 sets of 15 to 18 reps.
Quads.
I'll go um, close, narrow stance, hex squats.
Ooh. Oh yeah. I know what you're
So
talking
you
about.
know the
Yeah.
Tom Platt style narrow stance. I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, I know why you're trying to do that. How many sets and reps there?
I'll go 3 sets of 10 to 12 reps.
Hammies.
Hammies, ooh, man, lying leg curl.
I tell you, that's a good one too, and the seated one's good. But you know what I've started doing? You might have get your
Yeah,
pen and paper out.
yeah.
The standing leg curls. You know the standing.
I do that. I do that. I do that.
I
That's a
think
part
I
of the
think
part.
I think that isolates it. I think that
That
isolates.
isolates a lot, but like I
Yeah.
like to do the lying one first and then get into the standing one.
Mm. Calves.
Standing calf raises anytime, any day. Yeah,
Yeah. I'll give you a tip on that one. Jay
yeah.
Cutler believes that's the first exercise you should do when you do legs.
That's what I do. Even
Yeah.
like I train calves every time. The first thing I should do, I'll get calves out of the way. But like genetically, I have very weak calves, so they have a lot of catching up to do.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about calves with where you're from, but also
Yeah,
Europeans don't have, even Middle
yeah,
Easterns don't have very good fucking calves.
yeah.
I don't know why. Tibialis, only because I want to sound technical. Tibialis, do you train that?
So I usually, if I were to train that, I will do. Do you know? It's an exercise that I made by myself. So I'll attach the cable or the
Mhm.
cup to my feet,
Yep.
and I'll go up and down with my feet like
Mm.
the reverse raise. I'll use
Well,
my toe to raise it.
only because my gym actually have a
Yeah.
tibialis machine. Don't ask.
Wow,
I know, man. I
wow.
know. I sent it to Jason, the other physique guy in America. He didn't believe me, but I sent it.
Yeah.
What about how many sets and reps then?
Sorry, 1 second,
Hey.
Steve. 1 second. Where's Rosie?
And what
Yeah.
about glutes? Glutes.
Oh, glutes. I would just do. Look, I wouldn't say hip thrust because I feel my hammies in there too. But I like to do the glute kickback, the standing one. I've
Yep.
got this machine in my gym that's done like I do a glute kickback when I stand straight, and I feel it more when I use my heels to push, kick it back.
How many sets and reps there?
I do about 8 to 10. Go a little bit heavy.
Okay. You know what I do? I just do the the pressing one. You can do your inner thighs or you do your glutes.
Adductor, adductor, and adductor.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
just
yeah,
do that. I can't, to be honest, because we don't have a hip thruster because we are a guy's gym and we don't need a
yeah,
hip thrusting machine. Just to
yeah.
do hip thrusters in there, I can't be bothered. I just get it. I just so and not many boys are doing it in that gym, so I don't want to seem weak. All right. This is the moment for you to plug and promote yourself. So look in the camera and tell us all if you have
Yeah.
any sponsors or you want to mention people or you tell us where we can find you. The floor's yours.
All right. So as you guys know, I'm Ali Raza, and you've heard that how I turned pro and what I've been doing for all these years. Now, I've worked with a lot of sponsors back in 2017, and then as I grew further up in the industry and the needs and wants changed, and my belief in a sponsor changed, and I wanted to work with sponsors long term who are willing to go all the way to the Olympia with me, have quality products, and we're on the same page, and they're in this industry for the long run. then hit me up. And I'll be more than interested to promote you in the right way. And I believe that my audience have this trust in me, so I need to promote the right product. So I've got to try the product out myself first. Now, you can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Google as well. If you Google my name, Ali Raza, will come as the first Pakistani pro, and you'll get a couple interviews here and there as well. And my goal, obviously, is to get to the Olympia and to be out there and to be the most successful men's physique athlete, not just coming out of Pakistan, but from Australia as well. That's it for me.
For sure, for sure. So on Instagram, you're Ali Raza
_ IFBB Pro. That's a very typical IFBB Pro's ID. So any new IFBB Pro that turns pro has _ IFBB Pro in his bio. So mine is Ali Raza _ IFBB Pro.
You're also on Facebook, I noticed. I checked that out too.
Yeah, Ali Raza. My Facebook page, I made it a long time ago, so I have way more following on Facebook, mainly from Pakistan. It's under the name Ali Raza as well.
Yeah.
So you can find me there as well, yeah.
Well, mate, I just want to say thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure. I've learned so much as well talking to you.
It's been a pleasure, Steve. Like I learned some important lessons, and I've got to know to start tricep kickback again. So,
well, the tricep kickbacks, and also I think I noticed when you were pulling up closer to the screen. That's when I know you're really listening. Like you'll go right. Your head's calculating. It's processing now. So I really appreciate it. I just want to say thank you for your time, bro.
Thank you so much, Steve. It was lovely talking to you.